Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Stellaris with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to our newest full playthrough and the first full modded full playthrough in a very long time. Welcome to the Church of the Broken World. Now, of course, this is a reference to the Church of the Broken God, which is a whole thing in the SCP universe, and we are following a lot of very similar themes, so I thought, why not just make a really bad joke out of it? So we are, of course, starting on the Ring World, and we are going to be the machine cult we played in the previous episode, in which I outlined the mods we're using themselves. These mods are, of course, the Extra Civics and Ethics Classic, in addition to this over here, the machine ships. The links will be in the description, along with a link to the video which outlined these mods a little bit more in detail. After looking at all the different civics we could choose from, there were multiple empires I wanted to play, but I really want to play a full playthrough with this empire first. We're almost certainly going to end up spawning in the contingency, because we're going to go synth heavy very quickly, and I think this is an empire which has the potential, especially in the late game, to just become such a broken powerhouse. I think it's just going to be insanely fun. So why exactly do I think this is the best empire for me to play all the way through first? Why do I think it's going to be the most fun, especially in the late game? Well, it's because of the combination of machine cult and things like Divine Counsel over here, or more accurately, it's the combination of the machine cult and High Priests. High Priests are already a very powerful job in the normal game. They produce unity and they produce society research. They may produce amenities, I can't remember. Either way, though, they are very powerful jobs. Lots of unity, lots of society research, a very good job indeed. But when you combine it with Machine Cult, they are now also increasing the machine's output on your planet. So that means all of your robot or synthetic jobs by 5%, and increasing the amount of engineering research you get from jobs also by 5% on the world, and these things do stack. And it is very easy to get a lot of High Priests in the high population worlds, especially when combined with Divine Counsel, which means by the end, your worlds are producing, in the little test I did, up to 200% extra of all resources, and that goes doubly for engineering research. So once you can get that rolling, the amount of modifiers stacking with each other just completely breaks, and you end up with just absurd levels of everything once you can get the world started. Now, one thing I have changed since the test playthrough is, first of all, we are now the geckos, so we match the artwork, which was done by my fiancé, but also we have this. I have changed over Theocracy for Divine Counsel. So Divine Counsel is just a way more powerful version. It will give us one extra High Priest job per 33 populations, which doesn't seem that extreme, but considering we are going to be rushing the Archaeology project, and we are going to become synthetics, which means a lot of population growth, we want our ring worlds up and running, we are going to have a few worlds which are going to be stacking a lot of populations, so having those extra handful of High Priest jobs, incredibly good. On top of that, we also get the +10 stability, which itself is incredibly powerful. All of our worlds giving that little bit of extra resource in the early game, very welcome. This does, however, come at the cost of our physics research. We get -5%, which does stack with the -10% over here from Fanatic Spiritualist, so we're gonna be suffering a bit with things like shields and a lot of the targeting stuff, which isn't great, but I think the extra output from this will more than make up for it. We then, of course, have Machine Cult, which is the whole point of this empire. We then have the Ruthless Industrialism, which gives us the extra districts, as I mentioned earlier. So I do think early game, we're not going to be the most powerful empire out there. Late game, I think we can scale better than most other empires. Now, honestly speaking, after looking at a lot of the other civics, with me stammering there, and reading a lot of comments, it does seem like there are far more powerful ways of going with this mod. There are some really insane interactions, especially with the materialists, things like industrial mechanization and just loads of other things, far too much for me to get into, which would just break the game and be incredibly powerful, but I do think this is one of the more fun options, which doesn't seem as broken as some of the other options. I feel like I'm playing a normal empire. Not balanced, but more normal. I would also like to say this will probably be my only run where I only run these mods. I will be adding things like the gigastructural engineering and stuff like that probably later on as well. I might do one more run after this with just this mod because I really love how much stuff is here, but we'll see how people feel after I've played through at least this time. Now, the geckos themselves, the lovely little tech gecks, are traditional, natural engineers, and they are intelligent, they are sedentary, and they are fleeting, hence why they want to become cyborgs and machines, only living very short lives on their little broken world, which they've realised is just made out of tech. The machines were already there, the last few survivors of whatever race was here before, and well, they worship and revere them as the future of their species. I am going to change the voiceover though to Materialist, because the Spiritualist doesn't quite work in my opinion. And that is pretty much it. That's the Empire in a nutshell. It gets loads of extra alloys and consumer goods, it gets extra districts, its habitability suffers a lot on planets, it has extra influence, it has loads of extra unity and everything else. So early game, it's all going to be about expanding, finding planets, and getting them set up as fast as possible, trying to be diplomatic and nice, and not show everyone that we want to assimilate and destroy them later on. And then the second we are strong enough, and we are going to rush fleets a lot faster than I normally do, normally I'm very pacifist in the early game, we are going to become aggressive. We need worlds, we need all of these things stacking up, and honestly, the more worlds we have, the more mecha monasteries we can build. And the mecha monasteries are one of the most powerful buildings we can have, but we can only have one per planet. So more planets, more mecha monasteries, and you don't even need many populations on a planet to put this down, you can have it as your very first building. So of course, naturally we want that. Or at least the very first you can actually build. So with that, let's get going. I am going to put the end game start year a little bit later than I've been doing recently, which has been the minimum. Instead, I'm going to set it back 25 years. Still incredibly early, but a little bit later, just so we can really mess around with the archaeology project and stuff. And to be perfectly honest, we're almost certainly going to end up facing the contingency. You know what, now I've said that, I'm actually going to put the endgame even slightly later. This will almost guarantee the contingency. The contingency, the chance of it spawning is increased the more synths you have, and by this point we are going to be almost a completely synthetic empire and almost certainly guarantee the spawning in of the contingency. I will also be likely adding mods later on, which will allow me to force certain endgame crises, because I've seen the Scourge way too much. But for now, this just allows us to be a little bit more insane, and that's the whole point of this run. We begin. Future Lathrix here, as usual with these full playthroughs, just to say that this full playthrough was an insanely fun one, but as seems to be the trend as I do more and more of these, this one has broke a lot of records. This has took a full 7 days to get all the footage for, and I have almost 70 hours worth of raw footage, so I'm now just finishing the editing down process of, so if you do enjoy these videos, it really helps out so much if you leave a like and a comment, just interacting with the video, because these videos are algorithm poison for YouTube, but they are the type of videos I love making. I love these long form videos because that's personally how I enjoy watching the content, and ultimately that's what I strive for, to make content which I personally would like watching. In the last of these full playthroughs, for the first few days, a whopping 50% of viewers liked or commented on the video, which is, I think, the highest I have ever seen on any of my videos, and I can't thank you enough for that. So I really do hope you enjoy this full playthrough. I had a blast recording it. And with the shilling out of the way, which I hate doing so much, into the video itself. There's a lot of machines in this one. So here we are, beginning in the bottom left of the galaxy. I always seem to start here recently. So straight away, of course, we can build our machines. We have our first mecha monastery already up, and of course the ability to build machines. And if we take a look, here we are with the Techno Priests. The Techno Priests producing engineering research, a lot of unity, and reducing the upkeep of any machines on our planet, which already is really good. They only cost 0.7 energy per month, rather than, I think it's normally just a pure 1 per month. We currently only have 1 High Priest, but that will change fairly soon. This is increasing the robot output by 5% and increasing the engineering research from jobs by 5%. And I was correct, they do also produce amenities. So yeah, the High Priests just by themselves, even without the robot stuff, are incredibly powerful. Loads and loads of unity, good amenities production, and even a decent bit of society research. So stacking those as fast as possible, very, very important. Oh yeah, one negative is that because of our choices, our districts cost more than they usually do, so it's going to be a bit of a slow start since we do also have to buy all of our rare resources for our ring world, whereas normally we wouldn't have to do that this early on. Now though, let's just go explore. Let's try and find some worlds. Food is so far being the stabilizing force for our economy, which is kind of funny considering we are going to try and move into synthetics as soon as possible, so food isn't the most important. Now sadly, we ended up with, in my opinion, the worst of the precursors, the Ute. Now these will allow us to get extra populations when we colonize a world, so if we find any worlds with very low habitability, we can use them, just keep on sending colony ships, getting extra populations back, and that does help with that, but that's pretty much all the precursor does. It has a really not particularly useful relic. So not the happiest of that, that's fine. We are getting loads of unity, so almost finished expansion already. And as soon as we have one more population, we'll have our second High Priest. So we'll be getting even more food. There we are. Just finished off the commercial segment, so now our economy is going to be a bit more balanced anyway. And one thing I want to do quickly is... You there, production focus, mixed. Since we are going to be producing so many consumer goods, I don't want to lean into that. In fact, there's actually loads of things we need to do. I keep forgetting there's so many options here. So, mass media. I don't really know, but some of them, yeah. This one here, telecommunications, go with civic. This way we get extra admin cap and everything else, we don't have to worry about that. Personal weapons I'll leave as it is. Civilian transport, giving us extra trade value and increasing how fast we get colonies. There we go, there's a tropical world there, which I'll be using for extra populations, so that's good for us. Education, private for the specialist output. Healthcare will be public for the population growth. I've seen these now quite a few times in the tests. There's just so many options here. I am tempted to do a video just going into detail of every last detail of this mod. But suffice to say, it's just... there is so much added, it's just insane. Economic stance we can't do yet, same with authority stance, I'll get into that when we can. Refugees I'll leave as it is. Trade policy, there's loads more options here, which I keep forgetting. So we could turn trade value into food and minerals, which also increases our colony development speed, so once again more population from that. Or we could turn it into unity, consumer goods and science, no energy, there's just so many options here to choose from. I think I'll leave everything else until we have our factions, because our factions will want some of these to be specific, so I might need to change them later anyway. Yeah, which one of these is better? Maybe this one for the extra governing ethics extraction, and the authoritarian extra bonus there, but no, you get minus influence gain from your factions. I think I'll leave it unless one of my factions really wants one or the other. Here we are, our second High Priest, so now we're getting plus 10% research output from our populations, and our robots are giving plus 10% output for everything, so currently that's just more food. Since they're not droids, they can't take a clerk job, so yeah, just more food to sell. And soon I'll be able to afford the research segment. Once again, selling food to speed it up a bit. It's very expensive because of all of our civic choices, but there we go. Expansion is finished, and I'm very tempted to grab Interstellar Dominion, which is useless later on. Actually, no, it's not, because we are going to do so much climbing, that is going to continue to be useful. We'll probably go for the Colossus project as well. We definitely want Future Society, because that's amazing in this. So we want Archaeology, we want Galactic Wonders, we want Master Builders, so that's 3. Yeah, it's 3. So then Future Society for 4. We want the Tech one. We want both of these, so that would be 6. 7 for the Tech one. And that is everything already accounted for. So no space for the Colossus project. What would I sacrifice? Don't know, because this is really powerful. Future Society is a mod-specific Ascension perk, which just gives you +1 civic slots, and considering how powerful some of these are, like these two here, and there's loads of other options, that is really, really nice. But I would like a Colossus, because I want to see the machine Colossus with the ship set.
System survey concluded without incident.
Look at that little machine ships, all based on the Juggernaut, one of the Leviathans. Was it Dreadnought? I can't remember what it's called. Big ship, lad. Oh, I didn't even see these before. Look at the little Constructobots. Oh, that is so much attention to detail. Can't zoom in and see them. There we are. Oh, they're so cute. I want 10. It's so bizarre to see a minus number here. Yet we have negative research speed. That is so weird. Okay, so we have our factions, and unsurprisingly, our two fanatic ethics both have the strongest factions, and they're both mostly happy. The only thing we can actually do right now to make them happier is changing our trade policy from wealth creation over to consumer benefits. We would lose a lot of energy for this, but I do want the extra influence quite badly, so I am going to do that, so that's increased how much influence we're getting from them. That will happen naturally eventually, and if we get lucky, we'll get one of these two types of worlds. Thankfully, the spiritualists are the spiritualists from having machine cult, which means they don't care about us having robots. In fact, eventually they'll be happy about that, so they're all good and happy, giving us loads of influence. And can't change that. That makes them happy, that makes them happy. That might happen later. So yeah, there's nothing we can really do. Our neighbours, thankfully, are spiritualists. And have this, which I didn't even see before, the private militaries, which means you can have mercenaries, which give you trade value. Ship and army starting experience is increased by 200. That's actually really good for ships. That basically levels them up, I think. They get the Moguls. Okay, that's going to be a really powerful starting empire. They are xenophilic, that's why I like us. And they are spiritualists, so again, they're wary about us, but they will end up being our friends. Wonderful, the bunker bot, which will give us plus 200 influence. That's what I wanted to see. No use for another building just yet. We still have loads of jobs which aren't being taken.
Receiving transmission.
You know what, sure, let's make sure that you're happy with us, especially since we just stole one of your guaranteed habitable worlds. Oh wait, no, it's not, because you're from a desert. Oh, just a random world really close to your homeworld then. We found another empire over here, which thankfully, yep, still neutral to us. Yeah, completely neutral, there's no positive or negative feelings here, so all is good in this little bit of the galactic neighborhood. The first of our worlds, which we're using purely for populations, was just settled. I already sent one population back, so there we go. We now sent 2 back, which is good because, again, we have so many jobs to fill, which are all specialists, so it doesn't really matter if these populations are specialists that we're sending back. Normally, they're just sitting around waiting for a job, but yeah, so many specialist jobs, it's instant. I've just realised as well, we only have 6 oh, no, we do have up to 8 districts, it's just because we have 3 of them already taken. For a second there I thought I was wrong about everything. But nope, this planet currently has 3 out of 8 districts. So yeah, the ring worlds are going to be so insanely powerful. Already at max happiness from amenities? Yep, don't need that then. Might build a temple just to keep everyone spiritualist. Not really worth the upkeep. Just leave it as it is, keep on sending populations over. And hopefully soon we'll finish off our precursor. Again, as much as it isn't a particularly useful relic, it's useful for this one thing, getting extra populations from these colonies. This is probably the Empire, which is going to make the most use out of it. A lovely primitive world for us to enlighten.
Receiving transmission.
They're in the machine age, they have a population of 24, which is actually really good for us. And they are conformists, so they'll soon conform to our ways. It's just a shame they fought back and had to lose so many of their own, and apparently hurt a few of ours as well. Which honestly is just incredibly rude. Assembly plants, a shrine, a mecha monastery, and let's go the temple as well. Let's go fully into the whole spiritualist thing. Since I think they were materialists.
Another scientific breakthrough.
Ooh, and militarists. But hopefully since they're conformist they will change. At least some of them are authoritarian. We've just finished the infinity equation and got really lucky. We got the best possible outcome. And now, as the orb o' metal hits the event horizon... Oh, I didn't realise we got influence from that as well.
Research concluded.
Oh, I thought that changed to something smaller, so did I not get the best version? Oh, so it wasn't the best version. Well, whoopsie-daisy. I thought we got the really, really best version where that actually transforms as well and we get a, I think it's just a research speed modifier as well. Oh well, at least we have some extra influence. Honestly, I've mostly just been sitting here in silence now for a while because all I've been doing is micromanaging the worlds and slowly expanding our empire. Well, actually fairly quickly expanding our empire. But looks of things, we're one of, if not the biggest empire, and we are ahead on tech compared with everyone else. Now, our economy is actually looking really good. Outside of crystals, we have loads of rare resources, which we've been selling for loads. We have loads of excess food, loads of excess minerals, which I've been selling as well. So we have a tiny little fleet already, and we already are including cruisers, which so far I haven't seen anyone else with. So our fleets are now getting stronger, so soon enough, we will start to become far, far more aggressive. Just continuing to expand though right now, so there's no real need to be super aggressive yet, as all of our influence can still be spent elsewhere. And that's pretty much it. Our main world, our home world, I have been funneling populations into, now has 78, which means we now have a grand total of 4 High Priests, so our machines are producing plus 20% output, and we are getting plus 20% engineering. I have gone for a second commercial segment, just so we can rush more economy and just expand faster and faster, and soon what I'll need to do is change telecommunications from civilian just to neutral, because right now it is really costing us all of that navy capacity, which we're going to need if we're going to become aggressive. Eventually. We're definitely going to become aggressive against this empire, though, because it has a ruined Dyson sphere. Obviously, we want that. We finally have the Ute homeworld, and yep, so here is the Ute cryocore. On the upside, the passive effect, like I say, actually is quite useful for us. An extra 1 pop every time you get a new habitat, a new colony that is, which I was about to say is going to be good since we might end up spamming habitats. These will be 1 extra population each time, but also since we are sending colony ships to worlds and sending populations back all the time, that does mean we get 1 extra population, so rather than 2 we're getting 3. That's good. The active effect, though, is just not worth the 150 influence. It's minus 20% ship upkeep for 10 years. It's just not good enough for the influence. The influence is just way too valuable for so many other things. It's not terrible, and I'm sure in some circumstances it can be really useful, especially when you have a very large fleet that's only energy neutral when they're all docked and not costing too much, then you send them out and they cost a fortune. This could be useful, just so many other precursors I would rather have. We've finally got droid tech, so now the flesh is weak. Increasing our population assembly speed by 10%, decreasing our robot upkeep by 10%, and most importantly, we can now turn into cyborgs. We now have 5 holy priests on the homeworld. Now, originally I wanted to be a bit more aggressive a bit earlier than this, but here's the thing. I got droid tech so late, I had all my droids just sitting making food, whereas I normally could have had them on the alloy foundry jobs. I'm now converting them, hence why my alloys are about to hit way over 100 per month. I am converting some of the other worlds for them as well. That was the original plan. I was just so late. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no certainty in flesh, only death. A cybernetic revolution. Also, I missed out like 3 of those, and I think. Either way, the important thing is, our people are now cyborgs. They are augmented, and in most ways, far, far more powerful. Look, they even get extra research speed if they're leaders. Our Grand Leader, though, doesn't really care too much about being cyborg, but everyone else does. Bonuses everywhere. The species itself also is getting a nice, decent amount of bonuses, with extra habitability, army damage, and leader lifespan. A lovely improvement overall. So now, am I going to keep on sending colony ships? With the extra habitability, even the worst ones aren't going to be as bad. In this one's case, it's almost perfect, 93, but yeah, even the really bad ones, no, they're still on 23% habitability. Why is that so low? Oh, yeah, of course, because we're destroying the worlds we're on. I forgot minus 7% there and minus 5% there. So yeah, we will continue to get the colony ships to try and funnel populations into the ring world. This is now the 13th attempt of explaining why I might not pick welfare state. Originally, this was my intention to have this straight away. It gives us 1 extra housing from our city districts, it gives 2 amenities from our administrators, and our mining, farming, and generator districts have +1 job and +1 housing each, at the cost of +15% upkeep, which is nothing considering they're giving 50% extra output essentially, so that's nothing. But the big problem here is this. We have to not have private healthcare and private education. The healthcare part isn't too bad. I wanted public anyway, so that's fine. But private education gives +15% specialist output. Now, public education is nice too. We get extra governing ethics traction, more unity, less crime. It's all good. A bit less energy per month, that's fine, really. But that's just 15% output is just an insane amount. Now, on top of this, we'd also have to give all of our population social welfare or better in terms of their living standards, which would cost us more consumer goods. But I'm fine with that because it also increases our happiness by a lot, so it's not really a true negative there. Everything else is fine. It's just changing from private education is so nasty there. We could have mining guilds, which is interesting because it also gives you extra mining jobs over time. So that would be very similar to that. It also means our mining districts have +1 housing and +1 jobs as well. So maybe I'll go with that instead. Go with mining guilds rather than welfare state. I really do like welfare state. It makes our world so much better. Maybe later on we'll swap it for that. But for now I'm thinking either mining guilds or maybe Republican ideals because we get the extra influence from our factions and extra happiness. Our workers and specialists are both incredibly happy as well, so that would make our worlds happier with their political power. Well, it'd do nothing really. No, I think for now we'll go with mining guilds for once. I really want welfare state, but yeah, that'll be later on once our worlds are more established. So, I think this might demonstrate just how obsessed our species is with turning everything into cyborgs, turning everything into machines. This is a pre-sapient species. It's a cockroach. It's not quite sapient yet. It's smart, but not too smart. We've turned them into cyborgs. I don't know when we've done this, but we have. Which means a large population of our scientists have spent time, possibly months, tracking these things down, sedating them, and probably giving them robot faces, arms, and just general cybernetic implants. Yep. Now, thankfully, we are uplifting these, so it is nice they are already cyborgs, since we don't have to assimilate them afterwards, and that will give us loads of extra influence, which is good, because very, very soon we are going to war with the shrooms next to us. We have cruisers, we have corvettes, and our tech is doing really well right now. We are much further ahead than them. We have far less ships, but our ships are far stronger, and so we're going to claim this area. And hopefully, after we uplift, which gives loads of influence, we can grab all of this and end here. Then the next time we attack, we can go after their capital. The uplift has been a success, so with that, claim, claim, claim. We of course want Sol, so we can grab some humans. And we want that. We want that as well for the world, that for the world. We can get those later, that's all the important stuff, then we can start saving up influence, so we can start making some claims here as well. You know, I've only just realised something from earlier. Mining guilds plus welfare state would mean that our mining districts are giving +2 housing and +2 jobs. They're doubled. That's insane. I like it. So yeah, we'll definitely get welfare state later. Well, the enemy are being a bit dumb. They're attacking over here, but they have no claims or anything. Their victory is just humiliation. It just isn't going to happen. We're attacking over here. We've already grabbed the main system, the main station, that is. We're about to destroy this. Them being over there means we're going to get a stranglehold here and just sit tight. And yeah, they can't possibly win. We're going to status quo once we've grabbed everything. If they defended, and they defended on a station, they actually would have had a decent chance of winning. But they didn't, so they won't. So, despite the enemy over here grabbing all these systems, of course, we ended up winning. They'll get nothing from this. And we will get all of this. We only missed one system because I just wanted to get this out of the way nice and quickly. Gonna return these back to base. And we do now have Sol. Gonna just call it a random name here. Earth. Yeah, that sounds good. Weird creatures, though. Ugh. At least we can make them better by making them cyborgs.
Research concluded.
We are now building battleships as well. There they are.
Fleet enhancement supply.
And they look awesome. Especially since I've gone for the double carrier, which adds all these docking bays, and they just look amazing. So I've decided we're probably going to go to war with the Council before we go to war with the regime again. The reason is their capital is so close, so I've already made claims here and here. So we can grab their capital, which will be just an insane amount of population. The problem is, though, we did have a non-aggression pact, so it's going to be a while, but honestly, I need to finish off expanding anyway and finish off all these worlds. So I think it's in 10 years we can go to war, is that correct? Yep, in 10 years we go to war with the other geckos. Showing that we are the superior geckos. I've just unlocked Federalized Authority. Now this will annoy some of my factions, but I'm going to keep it for the extra admin cap, since we're about to hit it again and I don't want to build any more admin buildings. As soon as I unlock Centralized Authority, I will be moving over. This will be giving us +1 monthly influence, which of course is the biggest thing there. Influence makes me very happy. Now here is something beautiful. 2 things are being researched I was really looking forward to. First of all, we have synthetics, which means, of course, that's one step for us to all become synthetic. On top of that, we have the Sacred Nexus. Now, the Sacred Nexus is unique in the temples in that it also gives High Priests. Normally, it only give 1, but because of our civic, it'll give 2 instead. So we're going to have loads and loads of High Priests on the Ring World. Which means our machines are going to be incredibly powerful, and because they're synthetics, they'll also be able to do any job. Now, every time I start a new habitat, a new colony that is, I am sending over the synths. So we're getting loads and loads of them. And you, once you're done with that, can you please go and fix this and that? That'd be great. Our fleets are ready to attack the Empire next to us, the Geckos, and the next time we go to war with the regime, instead of claiming anything, we're just going to turn them into our vassal and eventually absorb them. After that, the Imperium will fall, then the consumer products, then the commonality, and eventually all will be us, and all will be made perfect. On our homeworld, we now have a grand total of 18 High Priests, which means our robot output is increased by 90% and our engineering research by 90% as well. So just for an example, if we take a look at our machines here, they're almost producing 20 consumer goods per job. So for reference, the default amount, if we go over to civilian industries, would be 6 each. They're producing almost 20. That's just fantastic. Synthetic evolution is on its way. Immortality is within our grasp, and this is also what's going to pretty much trigger the contingency. Already our population is very good in comparison to all the other empires, and it's going to increase drastically as we take over the empires around us, and by having so many synths in the galaxy, the contingency is almost guaranteed to try and destroy us. It will be glorious. Soon we will be synths in only a couple of years, in fact I think less than a year now, but let's start destroying these geckos. Well, not destroying, improving.
Construction project concluded.
Would have been better a few more ground forces, but I think it'll be enough. Oh, no it won't. Wow, they have really defended themselves. Oh yeah, the whole mercenary thing. They're gonna be really annoying, aren't they? I completely forgot you had the whole mercenary thing. Ha. That's a lot of ground forces. Oh no, it could just be this one because you have the Hall of Judgment. Either way, though, let's keep on making ground forces and eventually we'll have enough to just overwhelm. Until then, we continue to move forward. There are swarms of little angry robots. Be the last time we need to buy food for a while.
Special project concluded.
There we go. All machines. Which means they're all going to get bonuses from the High Priest. And the High Priests themselves are getting bonuses from the High Priests. That's fantastic. Oh, our energy is a bit, worryingly bad, but still. Flesh is weak, and so we have made ourselves strong. Okay, can the weaker fleet go this way, please, and take out that? That'd be great. Look at our little angry robots all swarming. Lovely.
Planetary incursion initiative successful. Hostile IF.
Need to start using this market as well. I just grabbed loads of populations which are now being converted. But what we do need is at least one species which we can keep growing normally alongside our main species. These are about to be converted because there's no other way I can affect the... In fact, no! I'm wrong there. Okay, I need to cancel something. Cancel you. We can just keep the original geckos. Not every single gecko has agreed to become pure machine. Some have nobly sacrificed to stay back to tend to the machine's needs. So give that a second to cancel. Which will take a few more seconds. Da-da-da-da-da. La-da-da-da-da. Okay. So now I can do is apply template only to the robots. So only those. We're not affecting the geckos themselves. That way the geckos can start growing, yep, through migration. At least onto worlds where they have some habitability, and especially on the main world. So we have 11.9 on growth rates for our synths, and then 4.49 for our geckos as well. So that's a really good amount of growth rate. Victory! Almost all the territory of the Council is now ours, at least all their major worlds, including their home world. Only the superior geckos will be allowed to survive in this galaxy. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we're killing you. We're just improving you by force. All of you will soon become synthetics. Okay, you need to get back and upgrade. I actually lost one of my fleets during this fight, so I had to remake most of it. And after that, we're going to go to war with you, and we're going to turn you... we could turn you into our tributary, but instead I'm going to turn you into my protectorate, because I am kind, and eventually I will then assimilate your entire civilization. Oh! Apparently the geckos did this, and I didn't realise. That's kind of annoying. Split up my, my empire a little bit. I did not realise they had claims here. I should have paid attention to that. Well, it's not really too much of an issue. No worlds lost. Yeah, just two really boring systems. Yeah, sure, I don't really care about that, honestly. So, what we'll do is eventually we'll come back and turn you into protectorates anyway. So first of all, we take over the regime. Then we choose between the Empire and the Imperium. Now, the Imperium might actually be a Federation candidate for the future, though, so it's hard to say. What about you? Ooh, you do not mind at all. That would not be difficult to get you to join us. Or I could just break this system here. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. So break this system here, thus isolating this system. And then I'll turn that sector into its own little thing, and I'll turn that into my Federation member. That way it's the exact same as me. That's the important thing there, really. What's it called again? Okay. See if we can actually find him in more than 2 seconds. That one there. Create vassal. Randomize name. Sure.
Initial colonization phase complete.
You don't want wars of aggression. That's interesting, but still wouldn't be difficult. Just make sure they really, really like us, then we'll release them and turn them into our Federation member. Though actually, that is problematic, seeing that. The fact that they don't want wars of aggression. On the upside, though, keeping them as our protectorate, which is what you are, right?
Fleet enhancement supply.
It counts as a vassal, but it's actually a protectorate. That gives us influence, doesn't it? I thought protectorates gave us a little bit of influence. I can't remember. Either way, I'll work it out. So the reason why I wasn't rushing to make a Federation anyway is because I couldn't have the technological version. I could only have either the Hegemony or the Galactic Union, both of which are not all that interesting, to say the least. So I've went with Hegemony, because eventually that means I can have this, Join or Die, which means I can just grab any empires left and force them into the Federation. Until then, I can just take over an empire, and I will allow subjects to join, which means they will all join the Federation if they want to or not, either way. And that's it. I'll either take over whole sections of an empire, or I will put them into the Federation, or perhaps even consume them later, depending on how I feel. Why is my energy looking so bad? Oh, is it because of all these worlds? Yeah, because all these worlds are suddenly costing me and they're not giving me anything back. Okay, that'll fix itself later. Overwhelming strikecraft. Okay, that was its main fleet. guess it'd be easier to deal with this area first. Take out these stations, then go back on ourselves. Really is just going to be a matter of war exhaustion. With the influence gain we have, it's almost at 8 now, all by itself, even before will to power, because of things like changing the authority stance. I have been building a lot of habitats, which is going to be really useful, considering they also benefit from the extra districts, just like the ring worlds. I don't know if this is really intentional, but it means that it begins with 7 districts, and we can upgrade it twice, just like usual, so we'll end up with habitats with, I think it's +2 each time, am I right? Either way, then it'll be 11 districts, which is really good. So I am going to have to start building some more mining areas and everything else, just so we get loads of minerals and energy. Though saying that, energy isn't really going to be a concern. Soon, we'll have the Dyson Sphere. And because of that, I have went with the Archaeology project first. That way, we can start upgrading our worlds. Since all of our alloys are going to be sunk into the Dyson Sphere, along with building the megastructures, we have loads of other megastructures we need first. Anyway, before the Galactic Wonder stuff, I want the Interstellar Assembly and lots of other things as well. So very annoyingly, our neighbours here, the Empire, has also gone to war with the same enemy we're currently facing and has conquered a number of worlds. Well, are currently occupying a number of worlds. I can't attack them without declaring war with the Empire, but if I'm at war, I can't start asking for other empires to become my tributaries or protectorates, which I really want to do as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do now is just accept status quo. This will give me every world I was able to conquer, which is most of them, to be fair. Oh my god, that border gore. It's going to annoy a lot of people, but there we go, that's all I can really do. Then I'll go back to war with the regime in the future, but for now, we do now have a new empire, the Conclave, it's called. Hello there, Conclave. And you are loyal to us, in fact, because you have followed our exact ways. We've even turned them into a cult because we've done this. So I can still, even though you're part of the Federation, I can still absorb you, right? Yeah, excellent. So I can choose when to make you leave the Federation. Also, there's a seagull right now. I don't know if it's picking up on the microphone, but there's a baby seagull right outside my window. It's adorable, and very loud, and very annoying, but also adorable. Also the border gore. Oh my god, the border gore. This is probably some of the worst I've ever had it. Okay, so I guess next will be the Imperium. Oh no, they're at war as well. Can we have one empire not currently at war? Okay, the Council is currently under the control of someone else. So how do I grab them from that then? Yeah, I don't get how I actually grab them from their current control. And I guess I could go after the Empire which is controlling them, since they're not particularly powerful themselves. Well, they got a decent fleet, but that's it. So we could go after the main Empire here and just go through them. The human ancients over here. Hey, humans. Don't know. It's all got very messy very fast. I can't do this with this empire since they're at war. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll wait until they finally win because they own everything they need to. Then I'll go after the empire next. They're friends with... which empire? This is getting really messy. It's all over the place. Oh, that empire. Okay, so I'm going to war both of them anyway. In that case, I need more fleet power, which is very easy to do. I just haven't been spending anything on my fleets recently. After tens of years of war with the consumer products, weird name for the empire, which of course is a mega corporation, this poor weary soul, this poor weary empire, has pledged their loyalty to us to protect them. And thus, our dominance of the galaxy increases. Wait, when did they take over the L-Gate? Conclave, when did you do this? Yeah, I'm talking to you, you adorable cactus people who like us. You almost accept Protectorate. Wow, yeah, if you were a smaller empire, you would actually accept Protectorate status from us. Protectorus. It's like Protect Us and Protectorate combined into one. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. I didn't even realise the L-Gate was opened. How odd. Can't see any worlds, though. What was even in the L-Gate? It must have been the dragons. I must have just missed the event. Yeah, the dragons have been released. Which means I don't think you can actually turn these into normal worlds because of that. Unless you do something to that system. Lies within Wasari Bloodborne. Bloodborne? Bloodborne space. How do you own one system? Ooh, Fanatical Purifier. Ooh, we could take over everything you have. Is there a way for our fleet to actually get there? Yeah, through the L-Gates. I mean, we may as well. You currently war with anyone? Yes. Oh, I see. You've taken over that, and that was theirs originally. We probably won't get there fast enough then. Never mind, stay put. There's other things we need to do. Namely, we need to get ready to take over the Holy Guardians over here. I really do want the Fallen Empire territory as soon as possible. And we still have empires over here to make into protectorates. Our first world has been encased in the Archaeology project, which is wonderful, since all resources on that planet is increased by 20% and population growth of the organics is increased by 50%. On top of all that, you have these really powerful districts now, so we are going to be able to create so many of absolutely everything we want. So to begin with, let's do 2 of those, 1 of those, upgrade that. And this is just one of quite a few which are being created. The Dyson Sphere also just got finished, and so we have loads of energy. Now, something really annoying happened. I was moments away from getting the Empire to just allow me to offer them protectorate status, and they were going to accept it. But then at the last second, they formed a federation over here with the Kingdom. So, we're going to war with the Empire to force them to be our protectorate. They don't know it, but it's for their own good. So we have 2 major fleets. Actually, I'm going to split you a little bit, since we could be attacked over there. Actually, no, both of you can go that way. The new fleet I'm making, I'll move over here to protect this area, since this is part of it. All 3 of these are going to protect each other. We are most likely going to have status quo. It's very unlikely I'll have the entire Empire, but likely a lot of it will join us. Hopefully in a bit more of a, well, less of a messy form like over here with the regime and the conclave.
Research concluded.
Look how loyal you are. Yay. It's going to take a long time before we can fully integrate you. Well, about a year, but then it's going to take a long time after that once it's activated. Now you, it is going to be a long time. Yeah, so I need to get this done now. I completely forgot how good synths are with habitats. Because you get basically full speed production in only a few populations. So normally you'd only be growing a few organics now. But for instance, this one here is already growing +9 for its robots. You will quickly get out of hand with population if you do this. And that's exactly my intention, because I can always send all the extra populations over to things like the city planets, and then we get loads and loads of extra high priests. 31 over here, it's just wonderful. I love how this empire works, I love it mechanically. If they could balance it to make it a little bit weaker, honestly, I think it would be my favourite empire of all time. Of course it is modded, so, I mean, modded ones are always going to be a bit fun. Now, the reason why the machine growth is faster on habitats in a synth empire, that is, an empire which has undergone the synthetic ascension rather than just a normal empire who is building machines, is because some of the natural buildings in the main building here, sorry, some natural jobs, are replaced by the robot jobs instead. Whereas in a normal empire, of course, that wouldn't be the case, so you're getting additional robot growth from the very, very, very start. Which, again, makes Lathrix rather happy. Turns out we have wormholes all the way into the enemy's territory, so say hello to Strikecraft, which have been upgraded multiple times now through our repeatables. Also, a Titan, because I like Titans. Absolutely crushing everything right now. So you can deal with the rest of this in a second, you can deal with all that, you can deal with all this. Yeah, looks like we'll end up status quoing once we grab all of their worlds. Already grabbed all the ones down here, like I say, gonna move up, grab that, and then do a sweep and move back. Currently I have a fleet over here defending this section. There was a fleet here, but they've just jumped through. It seems like they can also go through this wormhole, which is also attached to their territory. The wormholes are very annoying. For some reason it won't let me zoom in on this, but yeah, there we are. Just look at the sheer number of strike craft. I know strike craft aren't the meta or anything, but I just adore them so much. We have successfully assimilated the Conclave. Ooh, lithoids. Of course, what this means now is there's a lot of populations turning into synths for a while down there. We're also getting very close to true victory as well, which is not what I expected. Very happy with that indeed. Where's that ground forces gone? There you are. You, go over there please, next. And you can take back all of this. Will this bug this out? Change the size to 6. I'm hoping... No, yeah, because it'll change the planet size to 6, so it will definitely still just add 2 districts. It won't bug out and remove things. I hope.
Successful.
Uplifted another species, which means now we get to do even more habitats. And pretty much anything else we want as well. We need more alloys. Been neglecting alloys for a while and it's kinda caught up with me now. So very close. Will this be the last system? Not quite, but so insanely close now. And there we go, achieve war goals. The Empire has joined the winning side. So, are you weak enough to simply submit rather than me attacking you? You're still in a federation with who? Oh, is it these fellas? Oh, because they're the subject. That's annoying. I was really hoping we could get away without fighting you. You're not too far off, you're just too far away. Actually, no, you're not. Huh, I might be able to get you to join willingly, but that might be a bit of effort as well. Still, for now though, that's one more empire, a very large empire now under our dominion. And so the machines go to war with the spiritualists.
Initial colonization phase complete. Initial colonization phase commencing.
And the game lags at the severity of it all. So, we should... Yeah, we're definitely going to be able to dominate this. This will be absolutely fine. Now, we will have to bombard their worlds for a bit, because our ground craft are a bit rubbish. Ooh, there we go. Finally getting the Xenomorph army. I think I actually passed up on this by mistake earlier. But now we finally have that, we can start making proper good units. Since at the moment I'm just spamming the basic ones, which is why I have such a weak ground force. Loads of clones, loads of just machine assault groups. Nothing particularly powerful. Their fleet just vanished. Oh, it went through the wormhole. Where does that wormhole go then? Why would they need to go there? Was I just going to remove these? These are the fleets I took from the other empire. They were just going here. Okay, we need to find out where on earth this wormhole goes. It leads to over here. Why would you go there? I am really confused about the route the enemy is taking. Goes this way. There's an L gate there. Is that where you're heading towards the L gate? But you're leaving your homeworld completely exposed. The Celestial Throne and the Sky Temple will be mine now.
Initializing hostile engagement protocols.
Yeah, we really do need a better army, because these things just don't do enough damage each and just get absolutely pummeled against anything fairly elite. So now I am building up some Xenomorphs. Despite the machines feeling so much greater than the organics, eventually pride did affect them, and any organics still living on the world, happily serving them, became less and less of a citizen and more of a servant. They owed the machines so much. The machines gave them everything, an empire of sprawling utopia. It's only right that they owe them and give back to the machines. Basically what I'm saying is all of my organics are now being transferred from full citizenship to indentured servitude. My empire has got a lot more efficient and a lot more brutal. The Celestial Throne has fallen, Sky Temple is already weakened, the Xenomorphs have won. Although there is no strength in flesh, only weakness, it can still be corrupted and still has some uses. But all of you are going to be converted. And these sky domes will be made into something a bit more useful. Yeah, I kind of forgot how bad Celestial Throne is compared to some of the other Fallen Empire main. Ooh, that's bad. I was gonna say main worlds, and then of course it is paired with Sky Temple, but still. Maybe we'll go after the other Fallen Empire over here as well, since they are literally right there. If we can get both of the Fallen Empire stuff, yeah, definitely. We'll go after them straight away afterwards. Oh, that's where their fleet is. I don't even know how you got there. Well, it doesn't matter now, you're pretty much done for. The last of your stations is about to be assaulted. By only one fleet, because I'm a dum-dum, but still. Goodbye. And the last of your worlds are also being devoured. Praise be the Xenomorphs. I appreciate the world that they are bombarding. I'm getting far too tired now. What does happen to my speech then? I appreciate the world. The Prophet retreats. Bad. Boom. Many explosions. This their world. Silly Fallen Empire. Lathric's been recording for 10 hours. Shouldn't do that. Breaks needed. Smart. Lathric's does healthy work. Lathric's good example of smart. So let's try that one more time. So we have the enemy here bombarding a world. I appreciate they are bombarding Prophet's Retreat, considering that's one of their own holy worlds. And here they are just sitting there bombarding it from orbit, utterly obliterating its pristine beauty. I just find that kind of amusing, considering that's normally what they defend at all cost. Although I guess maybe that's their plan. If I surrender, do I lose that world? No. So yeah, there is no reason for what they're doing. They're just doing the dum-dum. And I'm okay with that. So with our fleets, I've now gone with full shields, with the new shields generously donated by the Fallen Empire. We are, of course, still just spamming the Strikecraft, because I like spamming the Strikecraft. I think they're fun. And again, this is really silly. What we really should do is at least give them one of the X-size weapons. That would be a lot more balanced, but we're going to see if we can win just using Strikecraft. So here's my logic. Strikecraft, which I can't show right now, but Strikecraft are unique with the repeatables in that they don't give a 5% bonus. They're the only things which don't get that. They get a 10% bonus. And the reason is, Strikecraft are difficult to use, especially as a main weapon. So if they only got the 5% upgrade, I don't think anyone would ever give it that. So, since we're getting so much engineering research, can we just rely purely on Strikecraft versus a times 25 crisis for once? Maybe. Maybe. Potentially. Probably not, but we're going to give it our best try. And if we fail and die because of it, well, then we fail and die. And it'll be amusing all the way. Fear not, our glorious overlord. We are here to help, says one of our protectorates at the last second. Yeah, these are the last of the fellows, and I think that's it. Am I right? Glory be to the voice in the machine. So that's going to be a lot of populations being assimilated, and a lot of very pretty worlds indeed. Okay, so what are we going to do with these? We could turn them into city planets. We could just leave them as they are. It's a lot of food and a lot of minerals being generated there. Sky Temple. It would be a lot of effort to get all of these city districts. Oh, it's a size 30, I forgot. Yeah, that's what makes Celestial Throne special. It's brokenly big. You know what then? Just for the fun of it, I am going to try my darndest to turn it into a city world. Make it undergo the archaeology project. There's already enough jobs to go around, right? Yeah, there's loads of clerk jobs and everything else. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. We'll leave this. In fact, what we'll do is we'll turn this into a trade station. What I need to do is start to build our gateways. They're the last thing I was going to build anyway, but it's getting to the point where our trade routes are just really annoying and I have bastions defending them, and it's just a waste of starports. Of star bases. Okay, so I'm going to remove all but one, which will be the one on the old capital, which is this one? This one. That one, okay. So let's remove all of you. Oh, I didn't realise downgrade was just delete. That's helpful. I'm slowly learning hotkeys. Very, very slowly. Like, way too slowly. And you can be the new sector. Okay, this one we actually do want a decent governor because it's going to be a lot of resources. Science would be good. Maybe experience gain would be okay. Anything useful here, please? Nope, just going to keep on giving you the exact same governor over and over again. Actually, the extra food might not be bad. I might end up using this as a food area. There we go, there's the science one. That's what I wanted.
Receiving transmission.
Is your name Retina? No. Well, to me, you'll always be known as Retina. So apparently the Mega Shipyard framework is similar to the Science Nexus having this in the center. Ooh. That is blindingly bright.
Research concluded.
I approve. Also building a ring world now, since we've already built our, where are you? The Science Nexus is... Oh no, the Science Nexus is finishing off. That's why we're building a ring world. Okay, I'm keeping up with what I'm doing. We could build another Dyson Sphere. I would like some more energy. We are already running out. It's almost like our entire populations are built. Finally, the Galactic Stock Exchange. Okay, I have been after this for ages. We've only just got it. That's going to help out a lot. Never mind, energy will be fine. We now have the ability to have decent trade value. More worlds are, of course, being converted into the archaeology project as well. The more of them we have, the better. I mean, the population growth of the organics is just insane with this. With our first archaeology, which is you, we have 6.9, so about 7 population growth for the organics, and then we have almost 12 for the machine. That is insane. Yeah, our population is just skyrocketing. We're at 3,000 now. Only a few years ago we were at 2,000, and it's just going to keep on increasing and increasing. Oh, look, the humans have woke up. Yeah, just try it, lads. Peace in the galaxy is our foremost concern. Have you come to sign the treaty? No. You're fleshy and weak. If you're a robot, it might listen to you, but no, you're not. You're humans, of all things. I wouldn't trust humans of anything. I don't trust humans of anything. Certainly don't trust myself. Free market. Energy industry is privatized and governmental control and regulations over economy is generally reduced. Buildings, energy grid, and energy nexus produce additional trade value. Only wealth creation and consumer benefits trade policy are available, that's fine. Can't be combined with social equality or utopian living standards. Get 1 mogul job per 33 pops, 1 merchant per 25, 1 clerk per 16. Then we get less trade fee. Okay, I'm going to do that almost purely because I want the mogul jobs. If the moguls were as powerful as I remember them being. Hey, moguls. Can someone jump on there for a second? So a mogul, is it just trade value? Yes, essentially it's the more powerful version of a merchant. That's actually pretty nice, especially for free jobs. That's going to help out a lot with our trade value generation. Yeah, a merchant produces 5, they produce 8. Now, if you have certain civics, you can actually make moguls do other things, like increase energy and mineral production on the world, but sadly we don't have any of those civics. Also, I keep on trying to say muggle when I say mogul. These are our non-magic machines. They just make money. Magically. Wait. Our ships are once more in position. Now to war with the other fallen empire. Yeah, we need gateways desperately. It took way too long to get there. Currently, though, my influence isn't doing so great because I am integrating the Empire. Soon, all of this shall be ours. It's like we're giving the rest of the Empire a hug. The rest of the galaxy a hug. Did I mention I really need to take a break, but I'm having way too much fun? Because that's what's happening right now. Who needs to talk when you talk for a living, eh? I'm sorry, you don't have enough point defense for that. Make pretty shapes. Okay, all ground forces please merge. Lots of you are now xenomorphs, so you're nice and powerful compared to what you were. I've got claims on all of this. Sadly, I couldn't afford everything this time around, though. Finally, an actual fight with the Fallen Empire. I forgot just how much point defense they actually have. Also, not all of my fleets were here yet, which is a little bit annoying.
Research concluded. Construction.
Can the rest please get here as well? Yeah, we've won this one, but not as handily as I'd hoped. Yeah, just spamming point defense. The problem is as well, normally... Not sorry, point defense, strikecraft. Normally it's better when you have other ships as well to take the brunt of the damage. But here we are being dumb. Still, defeated the Fallen Empire somewhat handily. If you two could go there, that'd be great. And this is pretty much it as well. We're invading this world over here.
Planetary incursion initiative successful.
And now we can go on over and probably just wait a couple of seconds and then we can take over this as well. Imagine being on the font of knowledge right now and you look up into the sky and it's just this. That would be terrifying. Oops, daisy. Keep on cancelling the order, there we go. Wait, are those unique as well, the little transport ships going down? I don't know, maybe they were. Yeah, that's a definite victory there. On a side note, here is the finished Science Nexus. Which I have to say looks really cool. Very cool machine stuff. So this is the fully upgraded habitat. I was waiting until we saw the fully upgraded version to showcase this. It's a little mini ring world. I love this mod so much. It's kind of bizarre because it goes from this into that. And honestly, I think this looks good as well. The mega shipyard is now also finished. Lovely.
Enhancements supplied.
And here we go. We've got all the stuff we wanted from this Fallen Empire. We'll leave it now. Even if it wakes up, it's not going to be a threat to us. So quite a few useless worlds, and of course we have the main world, the Font of Knowledge, a size 20 world, which has already undergone the Archaeology project. And look at that. Loads of alloys, loads of rare resource and minerals, a plethora of energy, loads of food. That's the wrong use of the word plethora, but either way, the affluent centre, and the fortresses being the only thing I'm going to quickly swap out. And that is where I call this recording session finally and go and get some sleep. I think I've got like 30 plus hours of footage already, but today is about 11 hours of that. Don't do what I do when it comes to work, because I get unhealthily obsessed sometimes. But I was having a lot of fun. I like how the synths and the robots, which were here originally, have just basically taken over, and all the organics are now becoming them. Just make sure you only make us. It's a pretty big deal to make sure all of the new worlds only produce the correct type of machine. Okay, I can't do that just yet, because since no one's building them. But they only build the correct machine type, and it's purely because all these synthetics will be affected by the ghost signal and produce less resource, whereas our species, even though it is technically a synth, isn't affected by that. For some reason I can't change that. Is that actually devastation or something? Not quite sure what's going on with that world. But either way, yeah, just make sure I always lock that. And thankfully, unlike organics, there's no negative growth rate from this. You simply lose 10% of what's already built if you're swapping them. In that case, I wasn't actually swapping, I was just locking them in, so I didn't even lose that. Just need to make sure I only produce the main species. Well, now that we've completely obliterated one fallen empire, we have completely crippled the second, I think it's about time we attack the human fallen empire, which is actually now the awoken empire. So let's have a quick look-see then on what their ships are actually like and why we're taking so much damage. That could be it. If they're using a lot of strike craft, no they're not. Saying that, I think all the different fallen empires have different weapon loadouts. I'm just wondering where I took so much damage so easily with our ships, since we have such good shields. Now you are actually pretty good versus shields yourself, but you still shouldn't be breaking through them so quickly. Are we strong enough to attack the Awakened Empire just yet? Yeah, I think we would be able to, but I'm gonna reinforce anyway, so everyone go back, we'll attack the human peacekeepers later. One day I'll actually do this fast enough, but I need to remember to make sure all of the worlds are only producing our main synth species. Like I said before, these species here, the robots, will be affected by the contingencies effects, whereas our synths will not. And apparently I've been slacking with that for a while. Probably since we've just been going to war for so long.
Production project concluded.
Wow, so there we are with the machine gateway. Several of these are now up and running and my empire is becoming a bit more cohesive. Now that is a sight of pure beauty.
Project concluded.
Through the gateway we go towards the human awakened empire. Let's show them what geckos can do. Oh humans, we are here to end your threat. Oh benevolent interventionalists. Clearly you are the problem in this galaxy. And I am simply here to help.
Initializing hostile engagement protocols.
Apparently one of the other empires has turned psychic. You see, I do love strikecraft, but they do derp up a lot. For instance, these kind of went to the station, then turned around, and they've just done nothing, whereas they could have been fighting the entire time. Yeah, strikecraft are pretty awful in this game, I've got to be honest. The AI needs to be improved. It did actually get improved at one point. They were worse than this a while ago. But, yeah, they do a lot of damage when they're all out, but it also takes a long time for them to all be sent out from the ship. It's just there are better options out there, let's just say that. Okay, you just stay where you are. Might want to set some of them to carrier as well. Also might want to swap out these weapons, don't know, I've got a large version of that here. Oh, because this one needs to be upgraded and changed, okay. But I might just change them all to disruptors. That way we're completely ignoring shields with every single weapon. Though disruptors are quite weak and we're not adding any energy damage, all we're doing is shields. Essentially, the reason why I'm going with this is because I love the concept of every single time I have an engineering research, I always go with strikecrafts. I'm always increasing the damage, the physics is always increasing the shield, and that's where all of the damage and all of the defense is coming from, so I'm always perfectly upgrading the craft. At least that's the idea. You could do the same with kinetic though as well, and that would probably work out better versus a lot of enemies. But I like strikecraft, this is the one chance I have. Though I am tempted to just swap out to kinetic, because kinetic is good versus both the contingency and the unbidden. Dance, Colossus, dance! Oh, I know what this lag is. I think I've just finished assimilating my name, but... Dance, borders, dance! Oh no! What timing! Oh dear. Oh, this is gonna be bad. It's gonna be so many populations now, which are all gonna be assimilated. Yep, they're all being assimilated. Oh, I got all these new worlds. Look at all of these. Oh lord, that is terrible. On the upside though, now the Conclave over here will definitely join us in our Federation willingly as soon as it's finished with its current war. So the Conclave is about to become one with us. Though not a protectorate, annoyingly. It seems like we're kind of at that stage where getting protectorates is really difficult purely because of Empire population. And also they don't see multiple of the same repeatable as extra research benefits, so that's slowly going away as they finish off all the normal techs. So unless I go to war, I can't really get any more protectorates, which is a shame. I like them joining willingly. There's something fun about that. Oh, there's so many rubbish little ships. Okay, I'm gonna spend the next far too long sorting out all of this. So firstly, all of these worlds are going to need to have robot assembly plants, and they're also going to need the mecha monasteries. This way, they get the most powerful jobs, which give us loads of engineering research, but most importantly, decrease the upkeep of all machines on the world, which of course will be the bulk of the world very soon. Then later on, once they're actually building techs again, I'll go around and make sure they're all producing only the synths. So starting off at the Queen, or Kreen sector and going down. Yep, there's going to be a lot of very upset worlds. Whoa. Whoa. That is a world. You even got that. Is that your... Wait, did you have the... Okay, apparently, this empire had the origin of having the perfect Gaia world. Which is now ours. Thank you. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons right now, but there we are. Okay, we do not need more civilian fabricators because we have the city planets for that, on top of the fact our trade value is also giving us loads and loads of consumer goods. So I am going to be replacing all those. I need to also specialize these worlds. That's something I haven't been doing very well with the other worlds I've got, just because I've been trying to keep up with so many things. One thing which I would say for people trying to learn from what I'm doing is don't skimp on making sure that worlds are specialized correctly. It is a serious bonus if you can get that all done correctly. Now, I'll probably have to come back to these worlds anyway later, just because I don't know exactly how many jobs are going to be taken and such, since everyone now is being assimilated, so all the numbers are messed up. But if I can just do this, at least then I can leave them while I go to war. And yep, this is how long it takes, and this is why I'm probably going to add the mod, which makes all this a lot more compact. I've got very good at dealing with this UI, but it is very... it's a bit on the cumbersome side, let's say. And this is all the stuff you normally don't see in the video. Hours upon hours of this. Another thing I need to do is all these gateways. Now, thankfully, the Fallen Empire have been lovely, sorry, the Awakened Empire, and started to build gateways in their own territory. Anyway, that means we can connect all our trade value nice and easily. And, let's grab that as well before I forget again. So how this works is that if you have a station with trade hubs, that trade reach, the collection range, will actually go through the gateways, which means this gateway here, which is now being repaired, will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in every direction, which means grabbing most of this area. I'm going to build another gateway here on Heaven's Gate and collect that dark matter. This gateway is being fixed as well, so is that, which means all of this territory can be collected without a single starbase. Which is good because I am way over my max right now, so I'm going to start downgrading these star bases at random. I want to build them in specific places anyway, so it doesn't really matter what strength these are. And they'll all be collected later on. Okay, leave that for now. Oh, and we've pretty much destroyed all the humans' forces as well. I wasn't paying attention to that because I was doing all the micromanagement. As we bombard Mother, Cradle, and Brother. Sorry, Mother. The last of the Fallen Empire's empire is pretty much done with. The Xeno Wards. Yep, welcome to the Preserve. Trying to make sure at least one of each species will survive. You may notice they haven't got us because we never allow that to happen. So the Preserve will be ours as well, which is a lovely size 20 Gaia world, and apparently they were just building a habitat there as well. Cradle has already fallen, Mother has just fallen as well, and now for Brother, which has a only weak amount of defense left.
Commencing planetary incursion initiative.
And that is pretty much it. The Awakened
Research
will
concluded.
fall forever. They actually managed to go over here and attack us as well. Thankfully we had some defense forces, so it wasn't really a big deal. It was a very annoying fight, but not particularly difficult. There we are, Cradle, Brother, and Mother, all ours, and they are going to be future archaeology projects. Ooh, we really hurt the populations, didn't we? Maybe bombarded a little bit too much. Actually, speaking about the archaeology projects, over here, at the Celestial Throne, which is still classed a fortress world, I'll change that in a second, we've almost finished off, almost got all these city districts, and it will be a size 30 archaeology project, which is just going to be weird, honestly. Oh, you can't just get trade, can you, for these? I guess for now you don't really count as anything. I'll swap you over to Tech World since that's on building, but that's going to take a while. Now I'm getting back my normal influence now that this empire doesn't exist anymore. Lovely. My fleets are reclaiming this area as well, which was also taken by the very, very annoying humans, but it seems like they withdrew to try and defend. And kind of failed, obviously. I didn't even realise this, but we have a ruined shipyard over here. Which means we're going to have 2 mega shipyards. I think the effect will actually stack. Basically meaning our battleships are going to be built near instantaneously. Over here, the ring world is finally being finished off. These take so long. I love ring worlds, I really do. But I am starting to lose favour in them just because how long they take to build. And even with this run, the endgame crisis is 100 years early. Sometimes now I have it earlier than this. It's just difficult to get enough time to build them. And look how powerful we've become with only the base ring world. Okay, so once this is done with the humans, which won't take long now, we're about to invade the worlds over here and over here. So once they're done, I'm going to go to war with the regime to finally take back all my borders here and make this look way nicer. Still a bit mixed with some of the other empires, but at least the border gore will be reduced a little bit. Look at all these science ships I have. I'm finally sorting out our worlds and assisting research. It's something which is very, very annoying for me. I don't particularly like doing it. I don't find it fun. But there we are now sorting out that because it could potentially give me up to 20% extra research across the board as the scientists level up. So finally we are bothering with it. How have I still got some worlds which haven't been converted yet? There is just so much to do. Yeah, I'll definitely be adding the mod next, which will condense the UI a bit. Okay, well, at least I've fixed this. Yeah, I've been careful, so now almost all of our population of robots are indeed just our synths. As you can see, I allowed 2 to spawn here, but that was it. All the rest are us. So if we do get the contingency, which I'm hoping we do, we won't be completely destroyed. And this should be an absolute pushover. They have 15,000 fleet power, that is nothing. Oh, wait, they have another 20 or 30,000 over there. What are we going to do? So I'll quickly take over these. I'm making them my tributaries since I'm not going to bother to integrate them. And that'll just give us a little bit of minerals and energy at the end of each month. Well, it seems I messed up and thought the Marauders here are part of the enemy empire, but I also messed up and didn't realise that the Conclave over here were actually defending them. Well, I don't particularly care. The Conclave are weak and they're not even particularly annoyed at us for going to war with them. We're at war with them. Hello, old chap. Good seeing you on the battlefield. Enjoy the plasma round to your face, friend. Oh look, it's a little L-Gate Drake. What are you doing here, bird? Do you want to be my friend?
Commencing planetary incursion.
Be our friend. Look at the shiny. Look at it. Or we're just going to shine it up your... I totally just said but then. I didn't have to cut the video, I'm sure. Oddly enough, the L-Drake responds well to transmissions broadcast at wavelengths usually reserved for IFF systems. Science Officer Tetran has developed a fairly sophisticated set of commands that the L-Drake is able to interpret and will happily execute in exchange for occasional friendly wrestling matches with one of our science ships. Aww. Yes, you're a pet. Yes, you were. I'm never going to send you anywhere dangerous. No. And I'm being completely serious there. They're going home and they're never, ever, 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 ever going to go anywhere near combat because they're bloody adorable. You're going to be so spoiled. Yeah, you are. What? Just happened? The Chroniclers have gone to war to humiliate us. Bear in mind, they only have 60,000 fleet power. What? Are you doing? I was gonna leave you alone. No, I'm not now. I'm taking everything you've got left, but... I swear, I was gonna be really nice, like. Well, I say really nice. I am also responsible for taking everything before, but you get the point. Okay, this is the last world anyway in this war. After this, I can just status quo and I've taken everything. Don't need more than one fleet, so I'll just send, yeah, that one fleet over. It'll deal with these, and that is truly bizarre. Oh, it's attacking the Foundation, not me. That's why. But it should know I'm the one who's going to defend. I am so confused by that choice. Aye, that is one of the stupidest things I've seen in a while. And I've seen some stupid things.
Commencing planetary incursion initiative.
So it turns out, no, I was actually wrong and it was dumber than I even thought. They have, in fact, declared war on me. I just hadn't set my war goal yet. So, yeah. A unique choice, I have to say. We also now have both of the mega shipyards online, and that is producing an insane amount of extra build speed. Yeah, when you're building battleships like you are building corvettes, then, you know, things are going pretty well for your empire. As you take over the last of the fallen empire. Also, it turns out you can't take the capital when you do status quo. I double-checked to make sure I was on this planet. I was. We still didn't get it. It doesn't matter too much, but now all this is ours. And it slowed down this again. But on the upside, we now have this as well, so we're not losing our navy capacity to our Federation fleet, which currently only we're building because we still have that lovely bug where everyone here doesn't count as everyone until you go to only leader and then back, because things just aren't working correctly at the moment. They literally can't make them. Not that they really would be able to make too many anyway, but they just can't. Happened in my last full playthrough. In my last normal episodic playthrough, that is. And our xenomorphs are destroying the last of the defenses, and that should be that. Oh, seems like they are attacking their own station and losing. Or are they? Oh, it's actually going to be quite close. Can we capture this? Yes, we did, which means we win. And the end of the Chroniclers. So that's it. All of the fallen empires have gone. It's kind of weird, yeah. So the only mid-game crisis which happened was just the humans woke up, but then the humans weren't strong enough to deal with us, so we dealt with them. All nice and simple. So let's just quickly sort out these two worlds. Are they special in any way? Nope, they are really basic. Okay. Well, in that case, it's going to be robot assembly plans, the mecha monasteries, which I always forget where they are. There they are. Again, I know I need a better UI than this, but I'm just so used to it at this point. You, and the mecha monasteries. And just make sure we're only creating the true synths. And done. Okay, so we have 5 years until the endgame crisis can spawn. We have a just millions of fleet power already. That's increasing. We're now at 52,000 tech, and that's increasing quite quickly as well, since that's the main thing I'm focusing on. We're getting so much trade value at this point that that's where almost all of our consumer goods is coming from. Yep, 2,630 consumer goods is purely from trade value. Then the rest is made up of the city worlds, but honestly, they're not producing anywhere near as much. I'm also trying to get more of my city worlds to have more high priests as well. It's a lot easier on the ring world, I have to say. We've just managed to grab the conclave, so next what I'm going to quickly do is change my polypses. The conclave is now part of our federation. What we're going to quickly do is change our war philosophy to liberation. Only for a while. We'll change it back as soon as we can. I think it's in 10 years. This way we can also invite these fellows into our federation. There we go. So, only 3 empires now are not part of the Federation. And honestly, I don't much care for them. Oh no, we left the system over here as well by mistake. Oh well, at some point I'll just claim this final world. So, is it really worth having all the extra effort of grabbing these? No, I think rather than making them into Federation members or anything, most likely we'll just try and make them into our protectorates and then absorb them later. So as soon as I can change this... Oh, it's in 5 years, good. Honestly though, we have way too much to deal with already, and I think just leaving it as it is fine. Plus, we're never going to have our Federation particularly high level. It's just nice to have everything all in one. The Empire is reaching new heights at 57,000 tech. We are now completing our Strikecraft tech in only 4 months. This is with no stored research, so I haven't just been waiting around for a month and then I pressed it. This is instant and yep, 4 months at this stage. I know Strikecraft are awful. I know they're probably going to be the death of me. I know everything will probably go wrong because of it, but look! 300% bonus damage, 240% bonus attack speed. Everything is so very glorious. Now, one question I have. Apparently, the artillery stands will transfer its extra fire rate and everything to the Strikecraft themselves, but I'm still tempted to swap them over to carrier, since that's exactly what they're doing. They are purely here to send in the Strikecraft, and starting the fight earlier means they have more time to send out the Strikecraft for the Strikecraft to get to the enemy before they reach you, all sorts of other things. But I still think artillery is better. But either way, this is the finalized version of the craft. Somehow, I didn't get the dark matter thrusters, so I'm sending some craft over right now, some science ships, to try and grab some of these bits of debris. I don't quite know what happened, so I'm sending a second science ship as well. And you know what, a third, let's just get that done nice and quickly. Afterwards, you can go back to where you're currently helping out research. As many worlds as possible currently have scientists helping out, although I'm not showing that very well right now. There we go, there's one. How do I have so few worlds? Look how many scientists I have! All of these are helping out science. I just have so many worlds. It's becoming almost impossible to keep up. And we are getting more and more worlds as time goes by. Okay, you can help out this world over here. I just want every single world to be helped out. Even worlds which aren't necessarily science worlds are producing some science, of course, because of the mecha monasteries. And I occasionally build research labs because I like building research labs. This empire, honestly, is probably the most powerful empire I've ever had. Though, I've got to be honest, in terms of tech, because of the lack of bonus modifiers, we're not doing that much better than my previous best Empire run, even with the mod. So I do think that this mod could potentially turn the fanatic materialists into gods, because this is the spiritualist and research rush. I kinda want to play through one more time, just as materialists, to see how broken that can be, or kind of go with the whole concept of having 75% of your species completely owned, which is a bit on the brutal side, but is very possible with the new civics. There's a lot of stuff we can do, and I am very, very tempted by all of them, honestly. Though I do also want to play with gigastructural stuff, so maybe I'll mix both of them together. I don't know. Right now, all I know is we are looking really good, especially if it's the Unbidden. If it's the Unbidden are just going to die. If it's the contingency, it'll be difficult, but I'm feeling good. So one problem I am having currently is that the game is lagging something awful. It is getting to the point now where I am concerned about how long the game can continue, and it's almost completely because, well, we have over 6,000 population at this point. In the previous run, I think I hit maybe 5k at the very end. We're already at 6k, and we are growing very, 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 very quickly. That is somewhat of a concern. On the upside, we're just about to hit So one concern I currently have is the game is chugging to a halt. It is really difficult to keep this thing running now, which is a problem. But it is what it is. I'm really hoping that it doesn't cause a problem by the end of the video, and I'm hoping I can still have the endgame crisis, do all that kind of stuff, but expect some laggy fights. That is a bit of the problem with our current state. We have over 6,600 population, and we are increasing that number very, very quickly. Even the habitats, for instance, we have the combined power of 3.5 and almost 9 here, so yeah, we have lots of habitats. And then, more worryingly, we have these worlds, which can have just an insane amount of populations on without any issue, and they're growing them even faster, almost 12 for the synths, and over 8 for the organics. It is a bit concerning. The year is now 2350, which means after this point, the endgame crisis can spawn. This is a full 100 years earlier than the default, since the default is 2400 for the endgame start year, which means after 50 years after that, you can have the endgame crisis. 100 years early, times 25, we are just insanely powerful though, I am fairly confident. Weirdly, the Scourge themselves are actually going to be the worst of the endgame crisis, because all of our stuff isn't particularly good versus them. The Strikecraft are good, but that's it. Our shields are terrible. They literally bypass shields. So the Scourge would be annoying, but they are, in my opinion, the weakest of the three. The Unbidden would be incredibly easy, purely because we counter them so strongly. The Contingency, which I am pushing for, will be by far the most difficult. Though I do think we should do well versus them. If I'm correct, and I might be wrong here, the Contingency are not very good versus shields, and we are just bundles of angry shields at this point. Auto, how are you saying this is a factory station? Now, I have actually went along and changed a lot of our habitats, because our habitats are producing a lot of science each. And that increases it by a full 10%, so similar to a minimum level scientist assisting research. Again, most of my worlds have that as well, just not all of them because there's too bloody many. The Celestial Throne is only 1 month away from becoming the largest archaeology project I've ever had. A size 30. This will be able to hold a ludicrous amount of population. 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Look at that already, it has 84 free jobs and 277 housing. It's only using up half of its districts. We could use this to make just a ridiculous amount of alloys. In fact, I am going to do just that. Or we could have consumer goods, extra unity, not that we need that obviously, but extra society research is nice. There's lots of stuff we can do with this, and I'm going to swap it over instantly to the Foundry. Just because we are going to go with so many Foundry archaeologies. Normally, I stick with tech until we've had enough of these. On top of that, over with the other Fallen Empire, which were the humans areas, we now have the Cradle, which is also archaeology. But only a size 20, though Brother is not far behind. A world of cement and beauty. Void superiority. The construction of the impressive Juggernaut has been completed. This mobile behemoth changes the paradigm of offensive warfare entirely. It can construct and repair ships on the front line, and is equipped with devastating firepower, in this case lots and lots and lots of strikecraft, allowing for a ceaseless assault to those who dare stand against us. Only fools will oppose the Church of the Broken World now. I can't see it because there's too many things. Where are you? Would you mind moving out so I can actually see you properly? I want to see the machine Juggernaut. Thank you. It also has an aura which increases strikecraft damage. Oh, that is really cool. It's less flashy than a lot of the other Juggernauts, but that's kind of what you'd expect. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. How much shielding does this thing have? I honestly thought it'd have a slightly higher firepower. Yeah, this is all I can afford. It's just like a really, really powerful battleship. But yep, it has a defensive aura, effect on allied ships, plus 20% strikecraft damage, plus 20% strikecraft speed. Now that speed is the main thing. It's not fire rate, it's how fast they actually move within the system, which can sometimes be the main problem with Strikecraft, so I will be taking along the Shining wherever I send my ships. My god, we have millions upon millions. Each 2 fleets is 1.2 mil. That's insane. Oh, the problem is the game is really breaking right now, and I don't want to stop until the endgame crisis spawns, but we're also at the point where I think I could just crush any endgame crisis, including the contingency, especially if Strikecraft are particularly good versus them. I don't know if they are, but yeah. Please spawn in soon, I beg of thee. I may need to look up the console commands on how to spawn them, and I think in the next run, if I'm going to be using mods, I'm 100%, I promise, going to use the Crisis Management mod, because I need to be able to have a backup, and I do apologise I haven't used it this time. I will do it next time, but I don't really have time now. This video has already taken a week to record. Yeah, to be fair, I have been a little bit off and on with how much I could record per day because of real life stuff, but yeah, this is like a week in now, and I just need the crisis already. We have 73k tech! So I ended up getting bored of just waiting around, and we are going to try and make the kingdom our protectorate. Now, honestly, the main reason for this is because this empire over here keeps on asking to go to war with them anyway, to change their ideology and claim a few worlds, so I figure they're probably going to do most of the work for us anyway, so our fleets don't have to be out of position. Not that really the enemy pose any threat to us. We are essentially using endgame crisis level fleets at this point, and yeah, it's not really too much to be concerned about. It's just going to take a while. Absolutely fantastic. Now, this may be a little bit of a masochist thing to say, but I am so glad this is here. The ghost signal itself. So this heralds the beginning of the end. This heralds the contingency. So now that we have this, what's going to start happening is that our synthetics are going to start leaving our planets, they're going to start going haywire, there's going to be all sorts of negative events, and eventually they're going to have a serious debuff. And I've just thought of something I've done very dumb. I need to remove this. The sapient computers will also become weaker. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to check out Carrier. Let's see what Carrier's like if you're only using Carriers. I think this is a terrible idea, but I just kind of want to see what happens if everything is using this. Now that we have to swap them anyway, so what I'm going to do is just upgrade each and every fleet which is still hanging back at our main base, which is most of them, except for I think 4. So I'll move those fleets back as well as soon as I've secured the borders. I've almost completely stopped the Council here from being able to fight back. All we need to do is take the last of their stations, and then they are completely nulled. And that won't take too long. I'll leave my allies to keep trying to deal with the kingdom as I start preparing for the end. So, yeah, back to the whole, end of everything. So what's going to happen with the ghost signal is that eventually there's going to be a debuff for the sapient computers, as I just mentioned, but also for any of our machines which are not our synths. That is to say, not our founding species. So, 673 robots there are going to have a huge debuff. I think it's for tech and a few other things. But thankfully, this doesn't count. Even though they are synthetic, the founding species doesn't count towards their debuff, and as you can see, I've been very careful, and the bulk of our Empire's machines are our lovely single-eyed Cyclopean, yes! It's currently 4 AM, and I shouldn't be recording, and that word was very difficult for me to load. I don't even know if Cyclopean is right. Don't really care. The point is, the ghost signal is happening, so this war is becoming a lot less important for us. Thankfully, the upgrades are incredibly quick, and we do have the double mega shipyard, so it will take moments to change all of our ships over, and they are going to be ready to see if we can win versus the machine. We really should be able to. However, we are stacking Strikecraft, which I've had some terrible luck with in the past. Just the Strikecraft AI messing up, and just all sorts of problems with them. That's just one of the problems I have with Strikecraft. So here's hoping that overwhelming bonuses to how strong they are will overcome that. 380% extra damage, and 350% extra attack speed, and then a plus 20% if we have the Juggernaut available. Okay, you just continue grabbing all of those, and then when you're done, come back and get upgraded.
Fleet enhancement supply.
Ah, Strikecraft.
Initial colonization.
At this point, I think our Strikecraft are about as strong as the enemy corvettes. 1 for 1. Well, that is pretty much it for the Council. Yeah, our allies are dealing with that area, so that's fine. So now you can all return and get your upgrades. Once again, essentially a downgrade, which isn't going to be affected by the contingency's effects, which is good. So you are a random group. What are you? Oh, I think you're a group I got from one of the people I assimilated. You can continue then. Yep, rogue synthetics. The negatives begin. Our synths are now building ships, which are what they're going to send to activate the machine worlds. The war goes well, as you would imagine, considering we are broken levels of strong now, to be completely honest. If we take a look at the galactic community, my diplomatic weight is 1.1 million. My other council member is 42,000. All members of the council are equal. Some more so than others. Also over here, I have finally been building up my Federation fleet, and it's now at 1 mil. At this point, we are the times 25 endgame crisis. Fear us. More of our synths are vanishing. The best possible outcome. You might join us once the endgame crisis starts, because you become way more pliable at that stage. Who are you? Ah, the Bloodborne have one system left. And yet they're still so arrogant and angry. Ah, who's an adorable little fanatic purifier? Yes, you are. Oh yeah, there's this empire as well, I forgot. I was gonna take you over. You know what? You get to stay independent, because I can't be bothered, honestly. Ooh, can we send some more envoys over? Someone, please? That'd be really helpful, because I have no more left. Though I guess I could make some if I just sacrifice some of these. Oh no, I'm finally below 100% stability, so the housing crisis here wasn't really a problem, it's only just now started to be an issue, so I'll start sending some populations away, and I'll also go ahead and make myself the embassy complex to get myself another envoy. Okay, can all fleets please return?
Initial colonization phase commencing.
How long is it going to take until I can integrate you? Way too long. That's never going to happen. Okay. The arrival. Hello, synthetic killers. The contingency. So very, very soon we're going to see where the machine worlds are. I am really curious. If we're lucky, there'll be one right there. Just right in the middle of their territory. Yeah, thankfully we've already changed these over. We don't have any ships currently with the Sapient ship controllers, except for the one which is currently returning, which is going to be upgrading when it returns. All of these have already been changed over.
Research concluded.
So no negatives there. What? Okay, first machine world right on top of us. Oh, that's not good. Wow, okay. We need to get rid of that now. Everyone, move together, including the Juggernaut. We're gonna have a fight, and we're gonna see how well we do. Also, okay, let's have a quick look-see then at the contingency themselves. What are they good against? What are they bad against? Perfect. Yep, they are terrible versus shield. That's what I thought. They should be utterly crushed. Purely because of that. They're also equal armor and shield, so Strikecraft are okay here. In fact, they're pretty good, since they also do bonus damage to armor, so ignoring all of that shield, doing extra damage to armor but the same amount of damage to hull, yeah, I think we'll be okay. It's a shame that they are not using Strikecraft, purely because we have so much point defense. If I had missiles and Strikecraft, that would be perfect. Oh my god, though. What a positioning for the first of the machine worlds. I have a habitat above that! Look! There is a habitat! Okay, so this, at least, uses Strikecraft. Our habitat has merged with it.
Science ship status.
Oh, that's
destroyed.
Weird. Now, I don't have Defender of the Galaxy, so I decided to go for just extreme tech and extreme everything else. But, we should do well. It's a shame we didn't get the Federation up to here, at least. Oh, wait, no, the bonus is at max. Yeah, we never would have got that. Second machine world is... Oh, hello. Okay, right there. Nice and far away. Good. In Belgium. Darn you, Belgium! I always knew you were a machine empire! And in case anyone's wondering, at that fight, we have plus 400% damage from the Strikecraft research, and plus 410% attack speed. Energy weapons have plus 5% damage. The enemy already have access to the L gate, so they're already kind of everywhere at this point. So what I think we need to do, rather than keep on defending, is, well, I'll say keep on defending, we haven't defended yet, but rather than defending, we just go on all-out offense. We can lose some systems, we can lose some groups, that's fine, honestly, at this point. We just need to keep on striking out and taking out their worlds. Once all the worlds are offline and everything, we win. So it doesn't matter as much as they take, as long as we rush them, and we essentially act in a bit of a base rush here. The core, so this area, is the only area which really needs to be defended, since it has so much of everything we produce. Areas like this, as much as I love them, I don't care as much about. So who do we go for first then? Whichever one we can get to the fastest. Any gateways near here? Not really. Over here there's a gateway definitely here, so probably, and there's that wormhole as well, which is next to one of our gateways. Yeah, so I'll probably go after this one first. And they are now splitting up as well a little bit, so... We did have a kind of worst case scenario in that first fight, fighting everything they had, so if we can just fight a couple of them at a time, should be okay. Converting a few worlds now into fortresses, lots of strongholds and stuff. Thankfully we have loads and loads of habitats which we can use to do all of this. Just as a last-ditch effort to slow down the enemy. Now the thing is, I really should have been doing this a lot earlier, but I wanted to focus almost completely on power this time around, not just the usual habitat spam to keep the enemy away. I also don't know how effective it is versus the contingency. All of our forces, though, now are moving over to this gateway. They're going to jump over here because the enemy are kind of bouncing around, so we can move in and take out this second world, or world number 3. So that'll be 2 dealt with nice and quickly. Then we rush the last 2. This one's the least threatening. Oh, wait, no, that's the L gate. On the upside, though, that means it's also easy to get to. So attack this one. Go for the L gate one. This one then will be last. Okay. I am losing a lot of systems. Don't know where their ground forces are, though. Gotta be honest, I have not seen a single... Oh, wait, no, I did kill 2 ground forces on the way here, so I've knocked out one of the worlds. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what their ground forces are doing. That looks pretty weak. Did you lose something? Saying that, it does seem like in this mod, the average world has better ground forces than I'm used to seeing. So maybe they're just struggling with them. Okay, there's one of them. So their ground forces are actually incredibly weak to begin with. Did not know that about the contingency. I think we're going to be just fine. The first world now is above 50% devastation. I am still making fleets over here, which I'm going to send over there just in case. I can't remember if they can create new fleets from here. I know they can create new ground forces, because that did happen and I killed them. But, wait, 29%? Oh yeah, because I sent some of the fleets away, less bombardment per day. Doesn't matter anyway, I'm sending these over, and I am going to keep on making more. Except for you, you just return home, please. Okay. Oh, not a good time, game. Pirates, really? I thought I'd pretty much solved that problem. Oh, just these worlds here. Okay, I was going to say, yeah, pirates aren't really a big problem in my empire, because all the gateways I've spawned in. Uh-oh, they are returning, probably to defend. Can you please all get there nice and quickly? Probably don't need the Juggernaut for this fight, but it would be nice. we begin our assault on the next of the machine hubs. I like how when the ship gets destroyed, it gets flung forwards. Ooh, the game is... I was going to say, really slowing down. So, oh, where are you all going? Oh, you're all going over there for that. Nope, would much prefer you to deal with this. There we go. No! Aye. Oh, Stellaris Paradox, could you please deal with this? I love Strikecraft, but their AI is the worst thing. Now they're over here for a bit, but wait! There's an enemy over there! But wait! Even if you order them to attack one, it still is just all over the place. No, it looked like you were all going the correct way then. No! You're doing nothing! Oh, thank God I have so many shields.
Another day, another scientific breakthrough.
This is painful to watch. This much fleet power could have dealt with something much, much larger than this. But I want to record all of this just to showcase why I have problems with Strikecraft, despite them being easily my favourite of the weapon types. It's just horrendous. If they just focused on one, they'd be done with so quickly. We massively had the strength advantage there, finally! I am legitimately upset with how badly the AI just dealt with that. And this is after the AI was made better with the Strikecraft, bear in mind. And there goes the first of the machine worlds. Fantastic. Okay, you two can gather up over there next to the gateway. Currently the bulk of my fleet's just sitting here because I need to be able to defend against a fleet if they arrive. Honestly, now that there's nothing else to distract the Strikecraft, we're going to do much better if some arrive. So once that one's dealt with, there's only two left. This one will likely be the next one. Would it be better to enter from a specific way? I'm really not sure. That's interesting. Ooh, it looks like their defenders are leaving? Very interesting. Yeah, we are losing a lot of territory, but I still think we're going to be okay. Oh, hello! So that was one of the 4 mil fleets. Look at how fast they get crushed when the Strikecraft do what they're meant to do. This is such a smaller group. I lost so fewer ships. I'm not annoyed. I'm happy. It's fine. The next machine world has been destroyed. Oh, it must be 50% when they explode, not 100. Okay. I was a bit surprised by that. So, have the Guardians left? No, they're still there. There's no chance of taking out this with the Strikecraft being as dumb as they are, so how do I get back? That's a good question, me. I can jump over there, then return and regroup with the new fleets being created. So 2 out of 4 are now removed. The next one will still likely be this one. I think. There are some wormholes around here. Not too sure which, actually, but yeah. That's the current plan. So I was just re-watching that little bit of footage then, where the Strikecraft were pretty awful versus the Sterilization Hub and its original defenders. And I think the main problem is not so much they split up. Honestly, I don't mind that. If the ships are engaged with multiple enemy fleets, I don't see a problem with some of their Strikecraft going after one target, some going after the other. That's not a problem. but the strike craft which go towards a target need to stick on that target until the target is eliminated. If that's a fleet of ships, it needs to stay with that fleet until the entire fleet is destroyed, then move on. But what's happening? Often, the strike craft will get there, do one attack, and even if the specific ship isn't destroyed, it then swaps targets and goes after something else. This ends up with a load of time where the strike craft are just flying between targets, not actually doing damage. The most amazing example of that was versus the sterilization hub itself, the defensive core, whatever it's actually called, the station above it, this thing. Because that has a lot of health, the AI core, and they were going to it, maybe orbiting once or twice, then changing target, then coming back, and obviously that target hadn't yet been eliminated. If they just stuck until destruction, then I think most of the problems would go away. I mean, as we saw, versus a 4 mil fleet with less than half of my original fleet, I lost very little. Whereas the original attack, I had, I think, over double the fleet power, or somewhere near there. And all they had extra was one of these stations, and I lost so much. Yeah, what I'm going to want is the enemies to group up more. So like with this one, to get around the AI, we want to attack from this system here. Which is a bit of a problem, actually. But if we attacked from there, these would move this way. It'd all be clumped up in this little square here. Whereas before I attacked from here, and that's where the problems lay, because my strike craft were going all the way like this. If it's just this one small area rather than all of this, maybe that'll be less of an issue. Yeah, you're a bit stuck there, aren't you? Okay, we're ready again to make our next assault. We are going through the L gate, which is going to be a bit of a problem. We'll have to fight the system here. We go through the L gate, we're going here, and we're attacking from this angle, so once again, hopefully, they'll clump together. Far less of an issue, more like when we fought the first of the machine worlds. Now, I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but perhaps what would make the strike craft work better as well would be to have corvettes, destroyers, cruisers, the other ships, which will change how the AI actually fights. But I have seen the strike craft have the exact same problem even when you have a mixed proper fleet rather than just spamming battleships like I'm doing mostly for fun. So maybe that would help, but again, I'm not 100% convinced on that. This will be the 4th world I've lost, and this is one of the first worlds which are actually a pretty decently important world. Lots of tech and lots of Empire sprawl are about to be removed. No, sorry, admin cap are about to be removed.
Research concluded.
The assault on Belgium has begun. They were doing so well. Yep, being a bit silly again. I wonder if it's when they do actually reach the carriers. Maybe it would be better to have some corvettes and stuff if that is the case, but just look at that. All this time, it's just damage going to waste. Thankfully, we do outnumber them significantly in fleet power here, so we will win this regardless of how dumb the strike craft are being.
Research concluded.
Almost all the armor is removed from the station. Trying to buff up my ground forces right now since another world is now under attack. Or was that the same one? I can't remember. But either way, another world is also under attack. Just can't spare the time right now to find it. Just going all over the place. Oh, if I just stayed here and defended, this fleet would have been obliterated by now. Very glad that my battleships have 40,000 armor now, is it? Yeah, just over 40,000 armor. Sorry, shields. The derpiness can't stop me. I was born in derp, raised in it. I didn't have a logical thought before. Of course, naturally, when I was struggling to get a quote out, then the phone goes off. But I think you got the point.
Initial colonization phase complete.
You know, I'm just going to keep you all here because you're next to the L gate and I need to use the L gate afterwards. I'll send reinforcements to meet you afterwards. There was an L gate over here, wasn't there? Yeah, there it is. So I'm thinking is, jump to this L gate, we move over here, we jump to here, so we're close to having less problems again, then we jump through there and attack. And I'll send the reinforcements to meet them rather than bringing all these fellows back. They can also heal at the Juggernaut, so any damage done to their hulls they can repair. Not that really matters too much considering their hull is only 4,000. Their shields are 10 times stronger. So I can confirm it is 50%, or at least near that, before the sterilization hubs do this. And pop. Oh, it already kind of broke, just had the extra animation at the end. Okay. Get your butts moving. Get over here. Oh, enemies are nearby. Okay, still get there. We'll jump to here, so we're a little bit further away from them in case they decide to just randomly move over there. I'm hoping these will go to invade other territory. They're not. Either way, get to there. We can always decide and change our minds later if needs be. We have over 3 million fleet power here. Our fleets are now 1.1 mil. And that's without a leader. That's pretty impressive. That'll update when they move systems. Okay, so you three who already finished, could you all please, ever so kindly... Oh, well, I have loads of spare leaders at the moment because all the fleets we lost didn't need to do that, but could you ever so kindly get over there and get ready to jump with the others? This will be the last of the machine worlds before the prime world reveals itself. I'm getting really tired, but I'm determined to finish this today. The final machine world is now under attack. I'm gonna avoid saying the obvious about the swarm. Go disruptors! Maybe I should spend some time actually upgrading those disruptors. They're getting so much more use than they really should be having. The swarm being a little bit everywhere. Oh, it seems like... Yep, the fleet has been destroyed regardless, just because of sheer... Oh, no, it hasn't. There's still some left. But just sheer number here is going to win the day. Look at all those hits coming from all of the point defense. Just the enemy shield just constantly being triggered by all the hits. There we go. Okay, begin bombardment of the final world before the big boss is revealed. And now we really need to reinforce. I've shifted a lot of my stuff now over to alloys, hence why I'm producing so much. So we are able to produce large quantities of ships fairly quickly. And remember, we do have 2 of the mega shipyards. So we are producing loads and loads of ships very quickly. Only takes 148 days per one, and we can produce up to 20 per shipyard. At the same time, that is. And it's time for the final fight. I may have been incorrect about them being able to spawn units. They didn't, though saying that we also made it here quite quickly, so a little bit hard to tell.
Striking hostile station.
Not great that the Juggernaut went first, but there we go. Oh, the enemy strike craft will be taken down by our strike craft, though they got really scarily close to our Juggernaut. Please don't hit the Juggernaut anymore. Yeah, the enemy strike craft are being completely neutralized there. Though I think we did lose our Juggernaut. Whoops. Yeah. Don't actually know how that went first. They're all lined up together, then I gave the order, but it doesn't really matter too much. Let's see how dumb the strike craft are today. Yeah, you can see them kind of bouncing between these 5 and the main station. Bouncing between these, though, is fine, because how close they are to each other, there's not much travel time. Ah, look at that. That is bizarre to watch. Okay, one of the side cores is gone, so that's some of the damage reduced. We are losing ships. I'm just watching my navy capacity there. Okay, second core gone. third core. Wow, that is amazing. When you actually see the Strikecraft deal damage, remember how much health these things have. Yeah, that's kind of insane. And then you just see like a third of it or a quarter of it when they're all focusing just vanish every attack run. Okay, maybe a bit less. Maybe I over-exaggerate a tiny bit, but the damage is good. I just want Strikecraft to be good. There we go, just the Master left. As they're all kind of inside. Oh, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. The core's been destroyed. Now all we need to do is bombard the world. We have pretty much guaranteed victory now. If only we had a Colossus, we can make it a bit more dramatic. There we go, the end of the contingency. The contingency has failed. With the destruction of the last machine world, the galaxy no longer faces the threat of systematic mass extinction. Well, I mean, we're a machine empire as well at this point. We've become bored with the rest of the galaxy, in fact. I feel like we have the potential of turning either into a contingency sort of thing, or perhaps a really powerful fallen empire. We have reached technological enlightenment in pretty much every way. We have reached oneness with our god. There's very little else for us to do. All surviving contingency war forms have either powered down or self-destructed, and the ghost signal is no longer being transmitted. As with the other machine worlds, the main nexus detonated itself in a massive antimatter explosion when it became apparent that it could no longer resist its attackers. Travelling outwards at light speed, the intense light from the energy discharge will be visible to future generations for millennia to come as a bright, short-lived star. Across the galaxy, sapient beings are united in their celebration of this great victory. For the moment, at least, the future looks bright. In other words, we win. There we are, the contingency have been removed, the consumer products actually somewhat like us now, and the galaxy is pretty much now in eternal peace, unless we go absolutely insane ourselves. Everyone is under our rule, and we are actually fairly benevolent, despite the fact this is one of the least benevolent of the Federation types. So with that, I'm going to be calling it here. I still was micromanaging near the end, but nowhere near as much as I was at the early/mid game. We managed to get to 117,000 research a month, and if we have a quick look at our ships, our shields are at plus 460%, and our strikecraft are doing plus 530% damage with plus 460% attack speed. Which is kind of crazy, honestly. I think I have, though, however, proven that strikecraft should really not be used on their own. Perhaps used in a more mixed fleet, or perhaps used as a good side weapon, that's fine. But on their own, it becomes infuriating because of how the AI deals with that situation, though it was still insanely fun being able to win using them. And of course, the fact that we were using a fairly powerful mod with a very powerful empire certainly helped out that a lot. Although, saying that, even though we do have a lot of tech, we still don't have very much in the way of modifiers, so only plus 116% here. We managed to get almost 200% with a materialist empire before, so it does kind of show that although, yeah, we have loads of research, if we had plus 200%, we could have significantly less research and still be getting the same amount of speed, same amount of tech done. So, I don't think this empire is insanely overpowered. I do think it's overpowered, especially in the early game, because you can just stack whatever you want. But I think it was really fun. This whole recording was incredibly fun. It took over a week at this point, which is, I think, the longest running I've ever done any of these Stellaris Let's Plays. At least the full playthroughs, that is. But now, we must call it an end. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stellaris is a series you wish to see continued in the future. What mod should I test out in the future? Please give me suggestions. I have been reading all of them, and maybe I'll do another run using this mod, but perhaps making the endgame crisis significantly earlier. This was insanely fun. I think I underestimated how powerful this empire was, and I could have easily had the contingency earlier and just not focused on strikecraft. So next time it won't take quite as long to record. I think I have like 70 hours of footage at the moment, which is, yeah, definitely records being broken. thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.